Hello and welcome to the Man Games. This is another episode of Fun with Figures. Today we're going to be looking at some of the Jakks figures, but we'll start off with this one as I'm not actually sure if it is a Jakks figure or not. There is some writing on the boot of the figure, but it is starting to wear away. I do think it is a Jakks figure though. It is just a bit of a cheaper make of a figure. Basically it's just an Eddie Guerrero head on a body. Some of the 90s figures were a bit like this, but this one's just, it's just basically Eddie Guerrero's head on a body. Could be anyone. You cover his head up and it could be Benoit, Jericho. That's Eddie Guerrero. So they've not even put like his tattoo on or anything, not even really gone into a lot of detail on his trousers or tights. So that is Eddie Guerrero. Next up today we have MVP. This figure's been well played with. It's not my favourite MVP figure. Obviously there's a knee pad missing there. It's just that when the figures are white, the marks show up more on the figures. So, as you can see there on the back, there is quite a few marks there. But obviously, figures are meant to be played with, so that is why there's so marks on. It is probably 15, maybe not quite 15, but nearly 15 years old. I believe this figure came in a double pack. I would have thought it was the Adrenaline line with Kane. So speaking of Kane, next up is Kane. So these two would have come together. So these two were feuding, I want to say around 2008. They had an Inferno match at Armageddon. I was a bit surprised when this happened because it kind of just came out of nowhere really. Kane feuding with MVP. I don't think he'd been on the show that long, but obviously they were just trying to make new stars at that point. There was MVP and Mr. Kennedy, I believe, just kind of got into SmackDown main event scene from nowhere, really. But anyway, back to the Kane figure. Yeah, in good condition. Not a lot of marks on, like the facial expression on the figure. There is a mark there. The only main negative of the Kane figure is, the hand could be open, so it could choke slam the opponent better. That is Kane and MVP. Next up we have today Taz. Now this is in an ECW line of figures, the rebirth of ECW, as the former ECW wrestlers like to call it. They don't call WWE's rebranding of ECW, they call it the rebirth, so we will call it that here. Obviously this is when he was a commentator for ECW alongside with Joey Styles. So this figure has actually lost a tie, but a lot of ties don't last long in wrestling figures. Children think, I'll just pull on it and see if it'll come off, and then it does. Like, oh gosh, it won't go back on. But good figure in good condition. It does what it says. I'm not sure if this figure would sit on a chair properly to do the announcing, but maybe. We'll have to try that out in later episodes. Something to look forward to. So like the Kane figure going back should have had maybe a handle like that, so you can, you could have chokeslammed someone. But I like this Taz figure. Unfortunately, it is sad that the tie has lost its way. So that is Taz. Next up, we have another figure that has lost its tie along the way, Vince McMahon. I personally think this figure looks more like the Arsenal manager. There's a lot of marks on the jacket there. He's lost a bit of colour in the hair. We'll just turn him around there. There's a few marks on the back also. I believe this figure came with a World Championship belt. I think it's based on the time where he... Triple H lost his belt, I think, and Vince McMahon had held it until Triple H won it back at the Elimination Chamber, so I'm assuming that is when the figure was based from, because I'm not sure when Vince McMahon ever would have had the World Championship, but yeah, I'm sure we've said on the show before, sometimes they just give random wrestlers belts in the series. Now, I personally don't think it's a good idea. It should be, if the wrestler has won the belt, the figure should come with the belt. But I suppose if they've made so many belts, they need to get them out there. So next up we have Booker T. I believe this was in the Adrenaline line with Eddie Guerrero. I think that was round before WrestleMania 21 time-ish, as they had the skit advert WrestleMania 21 from Pulp Fiction. Not a film that I've actually seen myself. If it's any good though, let me know in the comments. Let me know if it is worth a watch. As obviously you can see there on the tattoos there that they're on. I'm not sure if he has more tattoos now or not, but yeah, it's a good figure. Again, not my favourite Booker T figure, but it is a good one. One of my personal favourite Booker T figures was the Raw draft Booker T that got released. So next up today we have Mickie James. This figure is in good condition. It's been well looked after. There is a few marks on the trousers there, on the flary parts of her trousers. So yeah, that's Mickie James. Not sure if this figure came with any accessories or not. Yeah, it's a good figure. Not necessarily a lot of talking points there. So yeah, that is Mickie James. Next up today we have a Bubba Ray Dudley. Now again, this was in the Adrenaline line, came with a Devon Dudley. There is quite a few marks on the forehead there, obviously where it's been played with. It is a better to scale Bubba Ray. I'll just see quickly if I can find the Bubba Ray figure from TNA, from our TNA episode that got uploaded the other day. Because obviously Bubba Ray or Bully Ray did lose a bit of weight later on, but obviously, come on, look at the size difference there. Obviously, facially the TNA figure one probably is better, but size wise, you've got to pick the Jax Dudley Boy figure. So yeah, he's got a few marks there on the arm, but no, good figure. I would imagine it's a bit slightly hard to play with just because with this material of his top, it's stopping the legs to move as well. But other than that, it's quite good. So this figure is based on the time when the Dudley Boys were teaming with Paul Heyman as their manager, and they were they were facing off against The Undertaker at the Great American Bash, where Paul Bearer got buried alive. Yeah, I can't say I was a massive fan of that storyline. Also, with it closing the show at the Great American Bash, I personally would have preferred to see Eddie Guerrero and JBL close the show. I think JBL winning the WWE Championship was a better ending to the show than Paul Bearer being buried alive. Personally, while he was in a concrete, as they like to call it on wrestling. So yeah, that was Bubba Ray Dudley. Next up today we have a Tyson Kidd figure. Now I really like this Tyson Kidd figure just because it is it's when he debuted in ECW. I don't think he really wore anything like that since. Obviously wore shorts, but not black ones. I really like he looks like a proper heel in this figure, whereas later on he was a babyface, but when he was heel again with Cesaro, he still didn't really wear this kind of stuff. It was more of headphones and brighter coloured attires. So yeah, I like this figure. I'm a massive fan of his hairstyle choice, but that's just me personally. So yeah, that is Tyson Kidd. Now lastly today we have a Jeff Hardy figure. Now this Jeff Hardy figure came in the Adrenaline line as well with a Matt Hardy. The Matt Hardy figure had a Hardy Boy vest on and like army pants, I think. So yeah, good Jeff Hardy, like the facial expression. Yeah, not a lot of marks on. It's been well looked after. Yeah, it's a good figure. It is a bit plain, but you know, there's not actually many features, obviously, because you can't see the tattoos or anything. But yeah. Also, I'm not really sure why. You know, there is slight redness in the hair, but you know, obviously Jeff Hardy always had like multicolored hair, so you know, if there's one fault really, you know, they could have made more of an effort in the figure's hair, but maybe that's just nitpicking slightly. So yeah, that is the last figure of today. Please like the video and subscribe. Leave a comment, let us know what you thought. We always want to know you guys' feedback so we can improve the channel. Also go out there and check the 2K20 content. The Mandy Rose and Otis stuff is probably the most popular stuff on the channel. But also, you know, there is also the AEW Universe mode, NXT, SmackDown, Raw. There's also WCW Nitro Universe mode out there. So yeah, go and check them out. They are all, you know, worth a watch. Really want to improve this channel, so obviously going back to your guys' feedback would be great. So that is all from the Man Games today. Thank you.